Hello, everyone. My name is Naliti Saul, and welcome to this tutorial on strategies to inclusively maintain mentoring relationships. In this tutorial, we'll be discussing some of the approaches that mentors and mentees can use to maintain healthy and productive mentoring relationships. Now, in the cycle of a mentoring relationship, maintaining the relationship is a time of giving and receiving feedback, recognizing progress and achievements, and offering and accepting support. But it's how we do it that is so meaningful. When we've asked both mentors and mentees to describe their mentoring relationship as excellent about why it's working so well, mentors will frequently say, quote, that they just treat their mentee the way that they would like to be treated, unquote, while mentees often respond, quote, that their mentor just treats them with respect, unquote. But when we've asked about specifics, both mentors and mentees' ranges of responses have always spanned decisions, actions, and behaviors that create something essential to every high-functioning professional relationship, a sense of belonging. That's the feeling we have when we feel seen and heard and acknowledged, when we feel a sense of physical and psychological safety, and when we feel not just respected, but valued. The sum total of these experiences is known as something called social belonging. So mentors, what are some of the ways that you've created a sense of belonging for your mentee? And mentees, what are some of the decisions, actions, and behaviors that your mentor has been engaged in that have given you a sense of feeling seen and heard and acknowledged, safe, respected, and valued? Now, it could be a number of things. So a mentor could basically create a sense of belonging in a mentee simply by using their mentee's preferred names or pronouns, allowing the mentee to feel a sense of respect. They could actually also, when a mentee expresses concern about a fraught professional associate or situation, that the mentor validates their experience, acknowledging that it is a challenging experience, and then perhaps might even help them develop strategies to navigate it. Or a mentor might not allow someone else to slight their mentee in their presence, which makes sure a mentee feel a sense of physical and psychological safety. The point is that it's frequently unclear precisely what a mentor is doing that basically results in such an amazing feeling or a sense of belonging from a mentee, unless the mentee actually articulates it. So one of the things that sometimes is useful is for a mentor to have a conversation with a mentee about how the relationship is going. Particularly or specifically, you could say as a mentor, we've been connected for almost a month, and I thought it would be a good idea next time to check in about what you are finding most helpful and supportive about our mentoring relationship. Also, I'm wondering if there's something else that you might appreciate because I'm willing to consider it. Let's talk about it next time. The reason why the idea is that you talk about it next time is that your mentee may also need a little time and space to really think about what are you doing that is so magic and so fantastic. So once again, don't sort of just pop it on or spring it on your mentee. Give them a little time and space. Now, mentees, if there's something that you actually would appreciate in the relationship, you can also basically ask. So your language might be first an expression of appreciation by saying something like, I just want to express gratitude about and just say how much I appreciate you for X, Y, and Z. And X, Y, and Z might be, working with me to actually develop clear goals. The fact that you always ask me how I'm doing every single time we meet. Third, the fact that you basically have used your insight and expertise in helping me actually navigate clinical situations. The point is that I'm just wondering if you would also consider doing A. And A might be something like, perhaps we could take our first 15 minutes of space to explore what's been my biggest challenge since we last talked. In doing so, you are first actually acknowledging what you appreciate, and then also basically requesting, not requiring your mentor to do it. The point is that it's also helpful to end by expressing why you would appreciate that, which is maybe saying something like, I've always appreciated your insight, or I just really sort of appreciate the space to really take time to think about this experience, which is happening so fast. In either way, the fundamental piece of information for you to glean from this is recognizing how important it is just to not just have an amazing relationship, but what makes mentorship magic is actually talking about what is so fantastic. Now, as a mentor, you might actually also take a little time to think through what decisions, actions, and behaviors that you have engaged in that have resulted in someone else feeling a sense of belonging. And if you're having a little trouble actually thinking about what you're doing, the 5 inclusive strategies can help. For example, you can intentionally ask yourself, what have I been doing to add respect to the relationship? What have I been doing to add diverse voices to the relationship? What have I been doing to add objectivity to the relationship? What have I been doing to level the playing field, not just in this relationship, but for my mentee out in the world? And finally, what have I been doing to intentionally offer protection to my mentee? So earlier we talked about the example of a mentor basic or a mentee feeling respected because the mentor used their preferred pronoun and pronouns and name. But that was the mentor intentionally adding respect and acknowledging that mentee's identity. That earlier example of a mentee basically expressing concern about a fraught professional situation and the mentor then validated their experience, allowing the mentee to feel acknowledged, and then perhaps the mentor taking a little extra time to help them navigate it, is an example of the mentor intentionally engaging in decisions, actions, and behaviors that level the playing field for the mentee. Finally, the mentor might intentionally offer protection, allowing the mentee to feel physically and physiologically or safe or psychologically safe by intentionally not allowing someone to slight their mentee in their presence. The idea is that these 5 intentional actions on behalf of the mentor, adding respect, diverse voices, objectivity, leveling the playing field, and offering protection, can result in the mentee feeling seen, heard, acknowledged, safe, respected, and valued. And one of the interesting things is that the range of experiences or decisions or actions and behaviors on the part of the mentor that results in the mentee basically feeling that sense of belonging is actually so wide. That could include something like the mentor adding respect to the relationship by basically having materials or artifacts that signal and celebrate inclusion in their own space, could result in a mentee feeling seen. A mentor can also add respect to the relationship in terms of simply asking a mentee about their challenges in the past week, allowing a mentee to feel heard. A mentor could add diverse voices to the conversation or the relationship by encouraging their mentee to cultivate additional mentoring relationships. So the mentee doesn't have to think that if I lose this relationship, I've got nothing. A mentor can also add objectivity to the relationship by helping your mentee or helping their mentee develop mentoring goals, and not only help them develop it, but also celebrating them every single time they make progress or actually achieve that goal. Basically signaling that the work that that mentee is doing is valuable and the experiences that they're having are valuable and that that person is valued. The point is that both mentors and mentees are both constant gardeners in functional mentoring relationships. It isn't that the mentee sits back and allows the mentor to shape both the goals and the entire direction or the nature of the relationship, that both have an important role in considering and cultivating what is considered to be a functional relationship. And those actions, those intentional actions, usually meet the definition of inclusivity. So today, or the next time you talk to your mentor or your mentee, mentors can basically take a moment to just ask and maybe celebrate themselves by asking in what ways they have my inclusive decisions, actions, and behaviors positively impacted my mentee or my relationship with my mentee. While a mentee can basically consider whether or not they've expressed appreciation and gratitude. And the idea of no invisible work means, have they transparently expressed that appreciation and gratitude for the ways that their mentors' decisions, actions, and behaviors have positively impacted their own experience and their own development. So in the end, the main piece of information that's useful for you to know is that taking time to really think about not just not the great outcome about how your mentee or mentor is basically fantastic, is only part of really what an effective relationship is. The other part is actually realizing that we each can have a role in making our relationships healthier, more functional, and literally an experience that the other person finds magical. So that's our tutorial on benchmarking inclusive decisions, actions, and behaviors to maintain healthy relationships, and really intentionally thinking about what you're doing to meet those benchmarks that we've talked about is sort of that check and balance for you to really start to kind of codify and really think through, like, what have you been doing that's so great? Hope you found this tutorial helpful.